Hello and welcome again to Football Cruise on Nigeria Footballers TV. It's another beautiful week to talk Nigerian football and Nigerian footballers. My name is Emmanuel Sebastian, and as usual, I'm not alone in the studio. I still have my guys with me. On my far left is Daniel. His name is Super MD, and David. Sorry, we call him Super MD, the Super Nerd, and of course, I have Bolo with me on the show as well today, guys. Let's congratulations to the Flamingos. What an achievement. Over this past weekend at the Under-17 World Cup in India. Congratulations to Spain, by the way, they won the tournament. But what can you say about the Flamingos? How they were close to, losing that third place game. It was a dramatic game, but what's the final was from you for the Flamingos?
Yeah, I'm proud of them. They made a record. First time Nigeria's Under-17 team would ever get to get past the quarterfinals. So it's a record for them. Impressive showing for them, and they had a certain spirit throughout the tournament that showed they were not under too much pressure. They played to express themselves, and it was good for them to get that win over Germany, not just for the bronze medal, but for the fact that Germany defeated us in the opening game of the tournament, and it was a way of getting back at them, even though we almost lost the game at the end because we're leading 3-0 with 20 minutes to go, and they equalized and went to penalties. But it was good for the girls to win the game. Going out of the tournament on a high like that, it's been a successful tournament, and getting something out of the tournament, winning the bronze medal, and the girls showed the good mood they were in. After the game, they display with the German girls dancing and all that. So impressive tournament for Bankole Olowo girls.
Supernet, for you, back-to-back penalty shootouts. First was the semi-final game against Colombia, and the third place game. So far, how can you sum up the tournament from the Flamingos? Is it a success for you, or were you expecting them to go clinch that trophy?
Well, they had the opportunity to go to the final. If Edafe had scored her winning penalty, that last penalty against the Colombians, would have been playing the final against the Spaniards. But all well and good. They got the bronze medal. Nigeria has finally made history. We have our first medal at that level in women football. The first African team that did that was Ghana back in 2012 or so, defeating the Germans also. And the Germans must hate Africans right now. so in all, I'll call it a success. Yeah, because I could point to one or two players that I believe can go on to do great things in the game. People like Ajekai, people like Bello, even Umilana. I think these are players that I think can be nurtured from this team that just secured bronze and can go on to do great things at under 20 level and then further forward into the Super Falcons. So, yeah, the team has a lot of flaws statistically, but I don't want to get into all that. On the whole, they achieved something that no other under 17 team had achieved, and I must give them kudos for that.
All right. From the Flamingos, we also have fantastic performances from Super Eagles players this past weekend. You were here last week on the show. I loved how you described Osimhen on the show last time. But he got a hat trick. Another beautiful weekend for Osimhen. Quickly, let's talk about Victor Osimhen and what Napoli are doing so far this season. His partnership with Kvaratskhelia has been fantastic.
Like we said last week, okay, this guy is the king of Naples, right? The Lion King, the Lionheart, the emperor of that city. Hat trick over the weekend. His first career club hat trick, for Napoli and for any club side at all. It was just...
we need to, there were confusion about that. Was it his first hat trick in, first career hat trick, first club hat trick?
It was his second career hat trick. He had scored 4 goals against Sao Tome in Super Good colours earlier in the year. That was in June or so. So this was his second career hat trick at senior level, but first for club. So that was what he achieved over the weekend. And what really impressed me about Osimhen's hat trick was not just that he scored, but the variety of those goals. The first one was one that was, I would say, a pusher's goal. He had to be there at the right time, at the right place. First touch, put the ball under control, and just poked it in. Then the second goal, another sharpshooter's finish, pusher's finish. Just one-time strike. It was like a reflect action. In medicine, we call it reflect. It's something that you are not really aware of, but you just position yourself to do it. He was there at the right time to connect with Kvara's very beautiful assist. Then the third goal, beautiful finish. Like, wonderful loaf over the keeper. Like, some people were even surprised. They say, wow, Osimhen had that kind of finish in his locker? Well, that's what you're saying. So the guy
that's a sign of a confident player.
He's stepping up. He's stepping up and listening. I think he's listening to the critics also, because people will talk about you should vary your finishing. You should always go for power. That third goal, he didn't go for power. He went for placing. He went for a very, technical way of, okay, let me beat the keeper this way. Let me not put power in this. Let me silently hit the ball, ship it over him, get over. He showed that Osimhen is a guy that will not just always go for power every time like he did against Roma. He will also see the need to sometimes want to beat the keeper, by placing it, looking for the angle, and just directing it toward that angle beyond the keeper. So he's a guy that I think is on fire. He's a guy that is that is high on confidence, and I think he should just keep it going because I think he's going to be Africa's first 100 million euro striker.
Beautiful analysis from you on Victor Osimhen's hat-trick. Bolu, 7 goals in the Serie A so far this season, despite missing a handful of games. I mean, how big was that hat-trick for Victor Osimhen? I think on a special day where I think Maradona was supposed to celebrate his birthday and stuff like that. Just describe us through that hat-trick from Osimhen.
Yeah, it was wonderful for him. Came at a perfect moment for him because he's on a high right now. That was the 4th consecutive game that he was scoring, and he makes it 6 goals in his last 4 games. So impressive for him. His first club career hat-trick, like you said, he becomes the first Nigerian to score a Serie A hat-trick as well.
Yeah.
So it's just perfect timing for Osimhen. And right now, you can see Napoli actually benefiting from his form because they're top of the table now. They have some space now with second. Yeah. So it's looking very good for them. And Osimhen is now joint top scorer in Serie A as well. So it looks like he's going to have that season where the striker is competing for the top scorer award and the team is also competing at the top of the table. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the season unravels for Napoli.
I mean, who do they play next again?
They play Lukman's Atalanta.
Thank God he didn't say Liverpool in Champions League. It's good you switch it to the league. But for Osimhen, record-breaking hat-trick, like you said, first Serie A player to score a hat-trick, and he's matched Dasimi Wanko's record of 30 goals in the Serie A. So he needs to set his own record now, moving forward in the Serie A season. And of course, shout out to the likes of Peter Olayinka, who scored also this past weekend. Xavier Godwin, Henry Onyekuru. These are guys who are also making the name. Ademola Lookman as well, making a claim for themselves. Now, guys, moving away from Nigerian players who scored this past weekend. Of course, we are a few days away from the World Cup, but of course, the Super Eagles are not in the World Cup, but we have some couple of friendly games to look forward to. So, who are the possible call-ups for this friendly game? Stick around with us, guys. It is still Football Cruise on Nigeria Footballers TV. Welcome back, guys. It is still Football Cruise on Nigeria Footballers TV. Guys, just before we went on that break, we're talking about the World Cup. Of course, we are not going to the World Cup. It starts on the 20th, but just before the World Cup, the Super Eagles will be participating in 2 friendly games. First is against Costa Rica, and the next one is a big one against Portugal. Of course, the game against Costa Rica, I think that's when club football will be wrapping up their final week before teams will be preparing for the World Cup. So there are talks that people that will be turning up for that game might not be the regulars that we all know. So, let's look at it from this angle now. Glad to see Terry Murphy return from injury. But so who are the possible guys that you think that might have a chance in that game against Costa Rica? What we've seen so far this season, an outside chance of making it, for that friendly game against Costa Rica. Super Ned.
Costa Rica game, a lot of our main guys to be in action, like you said. I know. The game is on the 10th, right?
Yeah, 10th.
And most games will be happening on the 8th, the 9th, the 11th. The clash is really, I think it's too tight a window to start looking at, the regulars like Osimhen returning, Murphy returning. I don't think many of them in the top 5 league will be available for that game. So maybe I'm looking at fringe players here.
Yeah.
People like maybe a Godwin, if he will be available. I haven't checked his match schedule. But I'm thinking just fringe players. It will be hard to really call who and who. I'm even thinking I might even use some home-based players to execute that game.
Yeah.
Some home-based players mix up with some foreign-based players. I think that's who we'll be expecting to execute the Costa Rica game. I think the eye is really on the Portugal game. That is where I think I can talk about, these are the major players I think we can call for the Portugal game. But for the Costa Rica game, mainly going to be fringe players, nothing beyond that.
You talked about Xavier Godwin. You saw him in that game against Algeria, and he scored this past weekend, like I said. But Bolu, for you, who do you think have an outside chance of making that game against Costa Rica, aside the home-based players that might just
like play? You said, I'm not even just focusing on the Costa Rica game now, the Portugal game as well, where we expect a lot of the major guys to be back. Like you mentioned, Xavier Godwin, he does have the advantage of the game being held in Portugal, so he probably has a chance of being there just for the close proximity, and the fact that he has actually been consistent for a side that are in the top 4 currently in the Portuguese top flight. So he's performing, and he seems to be in Peseiro's favor. And I saw his game against Algeria. He looks to have something that we probably need in the Super Eagles team. So he looks impressive enough to deserve another chance. And people like Paulo Nacho are back. from
Yeah.
injury, scoring the goals again. You have guys doing well all over. All I know is injured right now. Someone like Tyron Ebuhi has been playing consistently for Empoli. Probably deserves a recall as well. So, a few names that I would like to see. I like to see someone like Akpoguma again, get another call up, hopefully get a chance to play again. We've not seen these guys enough in recent years, and we need to have that. The Super Eagles needs to have that refreshing feeling about it. Names like Al Hassan Yusuf as well. We for indeed should be back to the Super Eagles fold after his injury as well. So those are the kinds of names I'm looking forward to for the Portugal game. I mean, based on the main team, main players that we know that weren't in the last squad or haven't been in the squad for one reason or the other.
All right, finally, you talked about defenders. You touched on Ola Aina, Tyron Ebui, and it brings me to our defensive pairings now. The defensive pairing we want to see moving forward. In that game against Algeria, we saw the pairing of, I think, Calvin Bassey and Akpoguma, in the 5 and 6 positions. Now, moving forward, I mean, Ekong is, I think it's fair to say Ekong is getting back, is getting his mojo back, playing games, week after week for Watford. What are your defensive pairings moving forward for the Super Eagles? Do you think it's time we phase out Ekong, Balogun, that Oibo thing, or do you want to see the partnership of Akpoguma and Bassey, moving forward?
Yeah, when Pesero came into the job, the first parents he used were Semi Ajayi and Ekong. I think those were his preferred parents until he decided to twist things up. He started using he brought in Bassey
As a left
and Semi Ajayi for the Southampton game, the 10-0 game. Ekong got dropped. I think he had an injury in the game against Sierra Leone, so that's why Bassey had to come in play centre back. Zaidu would move to left back. Against Algeria, Akpoguma and Bassey were tried for the first time, and I think I like a bit of what I saw. I think that partnership deserves a few more games. Let us see what they have to offer. Akpoguma playing right centre back, Bassey playing left centre back. Akpoguma also featured at left centre back for his club, Hoffenheim. He even played that position just yesterday for his club, but he's also comfortable at the right centre back, and that's why I think I want him to play, comparing with Bassey. And Bassey, though I must confess, Bassey in recent times had been moved back to left back for his club after that 6-1 Napoli whitewash, but the coach brought him back to centre back. So I think Bassey continuing as centre back for us is also dependent on how consistently he played centre back for Ajax. But for me personally, I would like to see that Akpoguma-Bassey partnership going forward. Of course, Semi Ajayi will be back early next month, I think. Midweek through next month or so, because right now he's injured. Ekong is playing well, but I don't want to see Ekong starting my games, even though I know he's our captain. If Musa is not playing, Ekong has a lot of flaws in his game. I think his ball playing is not that up there. So I would prefer Bassey and Akpoguma going forward.
As Super Eagles vice captain and Watford's recent captain. So you just want to see him playing for...
Man United benches Harry Maguire, my brother. So if they can do that, let them do the same to Ekong for Super Eagles.
But trust me, I prefer right now, I still prefer Ekong over Maguire.
You talked about Bassey, playing centre back. I mean, in the Super Eagles, it's fair to say centre back is where you want to see him, because we have Zaidou Sanusi who's had that left back position on lockdown.
Yeah.
Do you agree with Super Net that you want to see Bassey consistently as centre back for the Super Eagles moving forward?
Yeah. In Pesero's first couple of games, Bassey played as a left wing back at some point and a left back as well. And I've always wanted to see him in the left centre back position because of his progressive passing, and as well as the fact that he's a natural left footer, and having that natural passing range from the left centre back is always good in a ball playing team. I mean, a team that tries to play out from the back. So I think I really want to see Calvin Bassey as a left centre back with Zaidou Sanusi playing beside him as a left back because of his marauding runs and the fact that he's actually very good in that position. He's a specialist in that position, and I really want to see him there. Bassey is left centre back. All I know has that right back on lockdown.
Yeah.
It feels like it's a situation of Bassey and somebody else right now. That right centre back position is someone's to take if we're going to be playing the back four, and it's probably between someone like Akpoguma, Awaziem, and if we are going into competitive games, or for example, if the AFCON were to start tomorrow, you would have to have that seniority of that captaincy presence of Ekong. So I don't think Ekong is someone that we can.
Just
we
push
can
aside
ultimately push aside. But for this Portugal game, of course, I want to see the continued partnership of Bassey and Akpoguma. But in the long run, you can't displace Ekong, especially for the fact that Ahmed Musa is still around. Ekong is not officially the team captain yet, So he's still going to be around for a couple of more years. Even if he's not always playing, but he's still going to be in and around of the starting 11. So I think for now, Bassi and Akpoguma is good, but Ekong would always be in the reckoning.
All right, talking, not forgetting Ozonwa for always been in and out of the, being part of the reckoning as well. Doing his thing in Sochaux in the French.
Hasn't even been playing games.
But he's one player you can just keep an eye on because he's been in and out of the team as well.
Getting playing at Sochaux, like Sochaux is in League 2 and he's not even getting game there. That is terrible for a player like Ozonwa who want to play for the Super Eagles. Super Eagles is the biggest brand in Africa in football. Yeah. And you can't even get a starting shirt in a French League 2 team. No, he had to do more to earn his place. I
just want someone who's naturally left-footed.
Yeah, he's
in the left center. Yeah, that's why I had to bring the name up and stuff like that.
I think he needs to play before we can even consider him. He needs to play.
All right, talking about Ozonwa needing to play, the Super Eagles will be coming up against Costa Rica on the 10th of November, and of course against Portugal on the 17th of November. So 2 friendly games to look forward to for the Super Eagles moving on. And guys, that's been it on Football Cruise on today's edition of Nigeria Footballers TV. Supernet, good to have you back on the show. And of course, hopefully Nigerian players keep doing well in subsequent weeks in football.
Yeah. Especially Osimhen.
I know you have this soft spot for Osimhen as well. Abolo as well, good to have you on the show as well.
Always nice to be here to discuss. And right now it's very good to just talk about all the Super Eagles players that have been doing exploits all over Europe, and long may it continue.
All right, long may it continue. And guys, it's a wrap on Football Cruise today. Don't forget to always keep it up with us across all our social media platforms. And if you're watching it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications for premium Nigerian football content. That's been it on Football Cruise. Don't forget. Always, and remember, keep cruising. Bye-bye for now.